Hello and welcome to Crypto Divas. I'm Morgan Pierce with my co-host Jillian Gotzel, and today we are interviewing David Atkinson from Holo, who is currently in the middle, day 17 of his ICO. So we're really looking forward to hearing about your platform. Tell us about your vision for Holo. What is it? What does it do? What's the purpose of it?
Okay, sure. So hello everyone, hello audience, lovely to be here, very excited about this. So Holo is not the easiest ICO to explain, so I'll have a go in the next 30 seconds. So firstly, underneath Holo is Holochain, which is an underlying protocol to build scalable, efficient, decentralized applications. So Holochain is built so it is completely peer-to-peer, so there are no centralized servers, there are no ledgers, and there are no middlemen. And it's also purely agent-centric. In other words, it's not data-centric, there's not one single chain, but everybody has their own chain, so you have individual authority over data sharing, data access, and data storage. So Holochain helps you own your own data, control your identity, connect applications to suit your own needs, transact without centralized systems, and build light, fast, cheap applications. So when we talk to people about Holochain, that is like the next blockchain. So when you start talking about the way sharding's working and lightning networks and all of these kind of things, what people are slowly moving towards is what we've designed in Holochain. Now, Holochain has no currency. So we're not having an ICO on top of Holochain. Holochain is just the underlying infrastructure that makes Holo possible. So that's Holochain. Then on top of that, we know for Holochain to be successful, you need many applications running on top of it. And to have applications running, you need a hosting ecosystem. So Holo is the scalable, distributed application hosting ecosystem that sits on top of Holochain.
Wow. Okay, and it's also, just to make things even more complicated, it's an ethical ICO. Can you explain what is an ethical ICO?
Absolutely. So the terminology ethical ICO for us relates to how can you create a community that exists around the building of these distributed applications, and how can you make sure that the members of the community are those who are participating in the initial fundraising. Let's start with the three types of innovation here. The first type of innovation is the fundraising design. So we didn't want to set an ICO hard cap based on our feeling of the demand for the product. So we ran a crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo selling holoports and hackathons and developer training days. And we built a supply formula saying that the total supply of our ICO would be based on the amount purchased on Indiegogo. So the more that people bought holoports, we say the more demand for the product and therefore the more supply. So one is supplies related to demand. The next is that we have within our daily formula, we have a series of rules that mean that the individuals aren't able to purchase huge amounts of the Holo currency. So we have a 10% limit amongst other things. So we have caps to be able to encourage participants of all sorts of levels. And we found that in the first day we'd had 800 people participating, and we're into the thousands now of individual participants. Then the next is the currency design. So in terms of what you want is a currency that rewards early participants as well as is a medium for exchange through the ecosystem. So people can safely rely on using the currency. It's not going to be one price today and 10 times the price tomorrow. So there's a lot of work that's gone into our building of a mutual credit, double entry accounting, cryptocurrency that's backed by the asset of computing power. We can come to that later. But those things combined have created our perspective on what is an ethical ICO. as well. So it's not so much the administrative side like KYC, AML, and all of those kind of things that are essential to be able to create an effective banking environment.
And do you have a product? Is there something that people can get involved with today and start using?
Yes, so Holochain, again, the underlying protocol is in alpha. So for that means there's a working API. We have a distributed Twitter application called Clutter. We've got not quite in the hundreds of applications being developed yet, but more than 30. We've had 10 hackathons in 10 countries. So yeah, so there's a lot of people building applications on top of Holochain. Holo, we've got the design and specs for the Holo ports, and we've got the currency white paper and sort of, I think, nearly fully launched, and the hosting paper well underway. So the architectural design is being worked on, but actually Holo has not got an MVP that people can download. Holochain does.
Okay, so you've mentioned quite a few times the community. So
Yep.
What are you hoping to achieve? Tell us about that idea of how Holo will grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what we're trying to achieve with Holo is effectively like long-term a competitor to Amazon Web Services. So, you know, we've seen what Storj have done with application hosting, but when you look at what Holochain can provide, it's not just application hosting, it's, you know, digital identity. It's, and there's actually a beautiful, for all the viewers, in our green paper, maybe we can share this with the links, there's a table that looks at what is in Holochain and what is in some of the other ICOs that have been raised, and the technology in Holochain sort of equivalent to $5.5 billion dollars worth of fundraising for other applications. So we're really, really excited about the technology that we've been building. And so what we're thinking there is community organizations, enterprises that have R&D teams that aren't making progress with blockchain that they would like, social or impact organizations, like we're featured in Sphera's and billions to trillions piece around how Holochain can enable outcome-based financing models that the Gates Foundation and the UN and the World Health Organization are all looking for. So we believe that Holochain is going to drive enormous change, the next internet, a more human internet. And Holo, on top of that, being a hosting service that actually we could reclaim the internet with the way that hosting is provided, and reclaim the way our applications are being hosted. So when we talking about a community, we're talking about using the spare internet capacity that we all have and allowing each of us to be hosting if we choose to host. And more importantly, any of us who want to build applications, we don't have to buy the expensive infrastructure. At the moment, we can buy cheap, decentralized infrastructure and scale up our applications cheaply and efficiently, like Ethereum promises, but can't deliver because of the cost and scaling constraints.
And would you consider, other than the cost and scaling constraints, Ethereum to be your main competitor, or are there other competitors in the current cryptocurrency ecosystem that are kind of trying to solve the same problems that you're trying to solve?
Yeah, it's a great question. So some of the projects I referred to in that table, we have things like Tezos, Civic, Filecoin, Storj, Pillar, Status, Bancor, doing things like mobile-like clients, liquidity, personal data lockers, decentralized storage, secure identity. So Holochain covers what is proposed to be developed in all of those different projects. But of course, then you'd say that each of those would be a competitor in their own right. Ethereum, absolutely, as the then you took a look at more centralized services like Amazon Web Services, would also be long-term a competitor of ours. And then I think the World Economic Forum has just released a note saying here are some of the sort of the next blockchain projects to look out for, and referenced Holochain first there, but things like, yeah, so and again, I can share the link with you guys. And one of the major reasons they're looking for is Holochain doesn't have the same environmental impact. We can do asynchronous transactions for the unbanked. There's all sorts of impacts that Holochain can sort of start spreading the possibilities and benefits of blockchain technology, but in a real way that allows it cheap and scale up fast. So yes, I would say even those in that World Economic Forum article, like Faircoin, etc., would be other competitors trying to reach for this space as sort of the fairer, better blockchain.
Wow. And you were saying at the very start, Morgan said, you're on day 17 of a 30-day ICO.
Yep.
How's that going? What's the reaction been like in the community?
It's been incredibly exciting. I mean, some of this thinking has been around for 15 years. So and for, it built and grew and built and grew. So and the community really, or the core team of 30, have been together for the last close to a year now. So it sort of started with a couple of people, and then it built into a team of 30, and then built a community around Mattermost that got to 1,000, and then eventually we started branching into Telegram just before the ICO started. And what we've found that it's been enormously exciting from the community. So as I said, we've had more than 1,000 people in the community participate. We're at about 35% of our supply at the moment, but we've hit the cap that we wanted to hit to be able to commit to the project and develop Holo and develop Holochain to the level we want over the next 6 months. So now it's about just further engagement, getting people excited, and seeing what happens. We definitely feel the momentum's building over the last week and a half as the word of the project gets out.
That's great. And how can users participate other than participating in the ICO? Are there ways that users can get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So simplest way is to either participate in the ICO, to go to the Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign and purchase a Holoport, to jump on our Mattermost channel, and start interacting with the team and seeing if there's topic like that you're interested in, or seeing if there's an application that you want to be developing, and then jump on the Telegram channel as well. So four easy ways to participate. And again, probably the best thing is I can send the links through to you guys after this. So
we'll definitely do that. Yeah.
Yep, everyone can go.
And then you've been writing in Medium. That's what I pick up. You've done some research on LinkedIn.
Yep.
What things you've learned about doing an ICO? Give us your top 3 hints or tips, or things you've learned about doing an ICO well, perhaps, as opposed to badly.
Well, sure. I think so. Yeah, over the last few months, I've interviewed 150 ICOs, and I was really interested in hearing perspective from across the spectrum. So not just the founder or the CEO, but members of the development team, or members of marketing, members of finance, regulations, those kind of things. And then in the Medium article, synthesized it into about 120 quotes, categorized in 11 areas. But I'll go for the top 3 would be first, like, know your product, know what you're trying to do. And because an ICO is the latest fundraising craze, not the first, won't be the last, but the latest fundraising craze, it's very easy to say, I want to run an ICO, and not know exactly what or why you're doing. And so the deeper the thinking, the clearer the vision, the better the ICO. That's one. Number 2 is how essential it is to engage a community. So because I'd say that the thing that people have said goes wrong most frequently, apart from poor quality, not knowing your product, will be timing. And so we've had lots of examples through the interviews where there has been bad timing. There's been a piece of regulatory news or a piece of news about the banking environment, or even there's just been a large crash. But certain ICOs have pulled through if there's a strong community that believe in the product. The ones that don't have that don't pull through, and they're purely susceptible to timing. So 1, know your product. 2, timing. The third I'd say is that there's just so much in terms of like dotting your I's, so much you need to get right and go through. And so making sure while you're selling a vision that you've got members of the team that are also setting the underlying infrastructure in place. Because my third point is you need to deliver post ICO. There will be a lot that will not. and way better to get all your infrastructure and your operations and your thinking clearly in place. So if you need a bank account, you've set everything up so that you can get banking. And not just that your roadmap is realistic, that you could hire the right developers, all of those kind of things. Because ultimately, the ICO is nothing compared to the potential for these applications that we're working on to change the world. And you don't want to be the organization that raises the most money and doesn't deliver. You want to be the organization that raised what you need to raise, nothing more, nothing less, and delivers a world-changing application.
Wow, that's impressive. I think you're summing it. It's so true, because we interview CEOs of ICOs over the last couple of weeks, whatever, and it's vision, you're right, product and timing and community. Community is so important. It can't be overlooked. So I think we'll also put the link to your very long, like there's 11 points and loads of quotes for you. We'll put your Medium article in the links below as well.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Dave. It's a very interesting project.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a complete pleasure.
Yeah, you're very good.
Thanks, and good luck with your ICO.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, we'll touch in again at the end.
Yep.